Hello everyone, it is me, CoffeeStitcher, back for another fun-filled FlossTube video. This is episode 10 of the Reboot. I apologize, I did not film last week. I forgot that I had signed up for Harvest Moon, and was doing some of the fun events all the way through the end of the evening on Sunday, which meant no filming or skipping out on the events, and I decided I would rather push the video out by a week. So yes, it was 3 weeks between the last time you saw me and now. Part of that too was during that 3 weeks, there were a couple of pieces that I ended up focusing on a little more heavily as a result, so I didn't really feel like I had enough to show you. Because I had one piece that I was really focused on too, and so I just felt like it was an easier time to just give it another week and I would have more to show and talk about. So if you were looking for me, that's what happened. But everyone has had a good few weeks. I had an absolute blast at Harvest Moon. I a lot of the times don't get to do those virtual retreats because they usually end up falling on a weekend where there is something else going on, and so I miss it. But this time, I was able to go, and I had a lot of fun. I did a couple of rounds of the speed whip dating, met a couple of very cool people, including Allison M. and Maya, who is Stitches.and.t, as well as MMO Stitch. Really enjoyed getting to meet and talk with them. Really, I enjoyed everyone that I got to talk to, truthfully. But had a lot of fun with it. I know there were some bugs. I felt really bad. There was one person who we couldn't get my microphone going, and then we kept getting matched up together. So she went for 30 minutes of her talking and me very quickly typing in the chat. So it was a little weird, but otherwise it was a lot of fun. So I would definitely be willing to check it out again. I did purchase 2 patterns, and I'm not good about showing those things off when I buy PDF patterns because I don't ever think about it. But did do a little bit of purchasing, and so it was fun. I had a really good time. And then this weekend was my local chapter of the Embroidery Guild, our chapter retreat. So I went Friday after work, and then I was there most of the day Saturday. I did not stay in the hotel because it was so close to my house. It was like, well, that seems silly. Although I kind of wish I had stayed in the hotel because then naps would have been easier, and I think I would have felt less rushed over the weekend. But it was a good time. I'll show you a little bit of my door prize haul from that here in a bit. Yes, buddy, I know. It's very exciting. So yeah, so that's kind of where I've been, what I've been up to. So everyone's had a good couple of weeks. So today, to show you, I've got one more mention. I've already mentioned 3 of the mentions. I've got 5 projects that I'm going to show you, including 2 starts. And then some whips. We've got the October Whip Go poll that you'll get to see. And like I said, a little bit of haul. We've got a felt project update. So a whole lot to show you. So let's get right on into it. So the other mention for this video of people I'm specifically calling out as mentions, I should say. Slow Snail Stitcher just started a FlossTube. She's got lots of really great projects. A lot of things kind of in common, so I really enjoyed her first video. I know a second video came out on Friday, but I didn't have a chance to watch. So that will be something I do here shortly, I'm hoping. Definitely this week sometime. I just didn't have time after I saw that it had come out. So that'll be a nice treat. So, all right. Well, first, we're going a little out of order, but that's how I stacked my stuff over here this time. So we'll talk about the haul. So first, I've got this, which was a mill hole kit that I ordered from Tiny Hummingbird Stitchery on Facebook. It's a mill hole kit, and I don't normally go for these, but I do this one just spoke to me a little bit. It is a new one. It is a UFO. And I just thought that was really fun. Because, you know, why not? And it has glow-in-the-dark beads. So, fun. And then at the retreat, there were door prizes. And there were enough door prizes that everyone was guaranteed basically a door prize and a piece of fabric, which was the Saturday door prizes. So, I got a project bag. It's blue. It's sort of bicentennially, or I guess whatever we're coming up on next. It's 1776 and blue and patriotic and very pretty. It came with a pattern that wasn't really something I would have stitched myself, but there was someone at the retreat who really loved it, so I gifted it on to them because I figured they would be more likely to get use out of it than me. It was still a great prize, like, don't get me wrong, it just was not something that was in my milieu, as it was. Yes, Asher, that's a project bag. He's very curious about it. But the piece of fabric, that was also really cool. They had several, they had bags to draw out of that were the different counts. And you were allowed to pick through it. I actually was the first one up, and I didn't realize I could have picked through it, but I'm okay with that because the piece I picked is absolutely gorgeous. Unfortunately, I don't know who the dyer is or the name of the fabric. All I know is it's a 28 count even weave. But here it is. So it's got, the purple is showing up a little more vibrantly on camera than it does in person. But I'm kind of thinking maybe for the Brooks Books Jasmine, that this might be a really good option. I'm not sure, but that's how I'm leaning on this one. But it's so beautiful. So, very happy with that. Pardon my sneeze there. So, that was my haul from the retreat. So it was a great time. If you are local to the DFW area, we do have 2 chapters in the DFW Metroplex, one on the Fort Worth half, one on the Dallas. But the Fort Worth UGA were a lot of fun. Really nice people. A lot of diversity in terms of stitching, both in terms of topics as well as types of stitching. And it's a really good group, so definitely, if you're in the area, I would definitely recommend checking us out. We meet the first Saturday of every month on the UTA campus. So feel free, if you're curious and you're local, message me. I'm happy to help you find the location. You can attend 2 meetings for free before you have to join. So it's a great way to see if it's something you might be interested in. So, yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about whips. All right, so we're gonna start with my first new start. And I started this one, when did I start this one? On September 15th. So this is Springtime Florals. It is by Robin Pickens. And what it'll look like when finished should be up there. I am doing this on a unknown green fabric. I truly don't know what the color is. It was just in my stash. And I am stitching it with a mixture of over-dyed threads. I mean, they're all gonna be over-dyes, but about a little over half of the colors are actually botanical dyes. Some from Stuart Morse Textiles and some from another dyer who hasn't shown up in this one, and I don't know if my notes are syncing across. Oh, yes, they are. Ramblin' Roots. So here's where I got. So the the greens, this dark pink, and the two blues. Two blues, or is it all three blues? No. Two of the blues, and the darkest pink, and then both of the greens are from Stuart Moore Textiles. So, really loving how this is coming out. Very much looking forward to stitching some more on it further here soon. And the colors I used from, I guess it was only one of the greens was Stuart Moore. Yes. No, two of them are. Chartreuse and pine, and then the dark blue is sea, and the dark pink is aster. So, really enjoying it a lot. We'll definitely be excited to see this one come up again in the rotation. And then my retreat start for this weekend, and I only stitched on it on Friday night, was Cauldron Repair by Fine Frog Stitching. And I'm doing this on Halloween Mummy Wraps by Ship's Manor. And I got the wording done on the cauldron and a little bit of the pink. So I had a lot of fun doing this one. Again, it's another one I'm going to look forward to it coming back up in the rotation. I'm not sure if it's going to stay active in the rotation right now or if it's going to go into the archives. That is a situation for future Garrett to figure out. All right. So then, the regular whips that I worked on, as you may recall, Night Walked Down was not... Nope. I just accidentally pulled you apart. To quote the delightful Pam of Ditsy Daisy Crafts, was not razzling my berries. So my friend Matt picked a different one, which was the Stitcher's Book Club Sal, which is this year's Sal from Cloudsfactory. And I finished out, there's technically still one book left to go, so that'll be where I pick it up. But I finished out the majority, enough of the Jane Austen to call the Jane Austen section done. So Jane Austen is done. I honestly don't know which elements these are supposed to be representing. I'm going to call that Northanger Abbey, and I'm guessing one of these is Mr. Darcy, and one of the others is one of the other guys, maybe Mr. Bingley. Truth be told, while I appreciate Jane Austen, and I enjoy adaptations of Jane Austen, I don't enjoy reading Jane Austen. There's a long story behind it. And quite frankly, I find most of her male characters very interchangeable with each other. So I don't remember names other than Darcy and Bingley. I think there was a Mr. Wickham, but I don't remember what he had to do with anything. And I remember Elton only because of Clueless. Take from that what you will. I do better with the girls, sort of. I know there's an Elizabeth, and obviously an Emma, and there's Anne Elliot, who's in Persuasion, which was my favorite of the books, and Lady Susan, although I don't remember if she was actually a character or someone that was being written to. Yeah. But I do like J.R.R. Tolkien and Mary Shelley. Well, I say that, actually. Actually, if I'm honest so far, I don't like Lord of the Rings all that much. Like, really not at all. And I find Tolkien very wordy. And while I like a lot of elements of Frankenstein, I found the book very dull. So next up is Edgar Allan Poe, who I do like, and then Stephen King, who I also like, and I have read, and I know character names and where they come from. Yeah. This is why I didn't really do much with my English degree. All right. Moving along. All right. Then Universal Monsters came out to play. And I did get the 600 stitches in. I think, figure out what my dark blue was. I did stitch something in for the light blue, and it was very definitely not right. But I do think the dark blue I got figured out. So I got some of that, and then I added Igor up here. So I will be giving him a lightning rod of sorts to hold on to eventually. But there we go. So I got some good progress in there. So it is no longer abandoned. I know I intended to do this as part of the abandoned Sal, and then I abandoned it. But I was kind of like this is probably just not the project at this moment. And so when it came back up the second time, I was like, if I'm not still feeling it this time, then yes, we will do something different. But I was feeling it. So here we go. So I do want to try and finish as much of the roof parts before I get back into the rooms. But we will see, because we're about to be into a lot of black stitching. Right. And I guess I'll go ahead and say it will get 750 stitches next month, because it was chosen by my friend Bart as one of my WIPGO projects. Right. And then hot off the Q snap is this one, which is Jane Eyre by Stitching Book Club. This Universal Monsters is on Nessie from Under the Sea Fabrics. It is on Jane Eyre, however, is on Burgundy Truffle by Fortnite Fabrics. So here we are. I worked on this a lot yesterday at the retreat, so I got the top border done. And then, so I did discover I got a little out of order. After I finished this stripe and these, I was then supposed to do the quote, and then I was supposed to do the top and bottom borders, and then I was supposed to do this building over here. And I got out of order by mistake. So that was kind of what I was doing this time, was let's get me back in the right spot. So I still need to finish this part. And then after that, it's Jane's silhouette, the rest of the little florally border here. And then there's one more house, and it's done. So I'm anticipating about 2 rotations, because there's a little over 1,500 stitches left. So that means it's not going to be a finish for the next time it's called. But here it is. So there's the border. Give you a little more close-ups. I also came back in. I realized I didn't stitch the date like I was supposed to. And then I had 2 of these old doobies still to do. So I added those. And I missed a leaf up in here. So I added the leaf I missed. But here we are. And the quote says, I would always rather be happy than dignified. So here we are. So we're getting close. It has been a while since we had a Stitching Book Club release, so I'm hoping there will be one this year. But if not, that's okay, because after this one, I still have Dracula and Emma to finish. So all right. Next is, so the next project that I'm going to be working on is Meditation Garden by Jan Hicks. The wheel chose 500 stitches, so we will put in 500 stitches on it. When last we left off, this is where we were. It is a fortnight. I think it's maybe Bianchetto. Let me see. Yes, Bianchetto from Fortnite Fabrics. So this is where I left off last. So we're gonna keep working on the Weeping Willow tree. I think I got all the branches stitched on it the last time. Looking at it. Yeah, I got all the branches done. So we'll finish out the leaves on this tree. We'll finish out the Weeping Willow, and then we'll see where we're at. After those are done, because I already stitched the bird. So there is a bird up here that'll get stitched, and another bird kind of over here, and then we'll start working on the border itself. So I don't think it's going to be a page finish on this one. Maybe close, but I don't think it's going to be. All right, so that's what I'm stitching on after this video is over. I say that, honestly, I still need to finish drafting out my changes for the next round of Emerald City, which is the Tin Man and the Lion. I got the Lion done. The Tin Man is blocked. I've just got to fine tune the features, and go from there. My one sort of complaint that I'm having with the Tin Man, and to a degree with the Lion as well, is I've had to do a little more backstitch on them than I have on any of the other characters. And I'm afraid that it's going to, be obvious and weird and sort of stand outy that they've got a little bit more. Now, some of the lions is partially because in the charting software I was having trouble seeing one of the colors. So once I stitch it, I may not need some of its back stitching. It may pop enough that I'll be okay. But with the Tin Man, to stick as close to the colors as I want means that I have to do more stitching, more outlining on his arm to give it the definition. And then he's also got things like rivets and such that the others don't have. So I'm toying with, I may go back in and add a little more backstitch to some of the other characters, but they don't really need it. So I'm not sure. It may also be one of those things of I may need to just stitch it and see what I think. So we'll see. Some of it is it's just I'm working in a much narrower space. So some of the things, like, I know what Alforce did is, like, the Tin Man's got like one arm out like this and one like this, so that they could be the same color as the body in places, but I can't really do that because he's a chunkier Tin Man. So that's some of it, is I'm just having to work with what I've got. So it may also ultimately just end up being one of those things that I am going to have to accept and be okay with and call it a day. All right. So the next WhipGo project, no, I'm sorry. Universal Monsters was picked by Vicky Gable of Stitch and Button. My friend Bart picked Farming Magic by FlossyFoxShopl. So another $7.50 will go in on it, which will finish out for sure the fence and the rooster, and I'm hoping we'll also finish out the trail. So I think $7.50 should finish that one all the way out. And then, yeah, then we'll be closing in on that finish. The last part is up here. So, and I know it's a house. So, oh, there's also a treasure chest over in here. But I do think the 750 will finish part 7 out. Or be close enough that I just go ahead and finish part 7. Because sometimes it's just, you know what, I'm close enough, I might as well finish it. So I do still think definitely Jane Eyre will be a finish this year. Farming Magic, I feel fairly confident, will also be a finish this year. Springtime Florals, I would be very surprised if it's not a finish this year, just because it's not a very big pattern. But we're rocking and rolling on them. All right, so the last thing I'm going to show you tonight is another finish, and it is a felt finish. I did briefly post it on Wednesday, and I got tagged in like I had it up for all of like 10 minutes, and I suddenly got hit with all of these. I'm guessing probably like one of the hashtags I used must have triggered reactions from sort of spam accounts, and I kept getting tagged with like other, and I was like, no, I don't want this. So I took the post down, and then I put myself back onto private. That way I couldn't accidentally pick up followers I didn't want. Which is not to say that I don't want like stitchers or felt artists following me, but I don't need random person who really likes Halloween following me, because I'm not a Halloween account. So it was weird, and it freaked me out. But this is the Trick or Treat bag by Mary Stockings. So I finished this on Tuesday, I believe. So it does stand up on its own. I'm super happy with that. So the changes I made were not dramatic. The biggest change was I used, instead of putting my name there, because I wanted it on my desk at work, and I thought, well, it says Garrett's Treats, then my coworkers may not take some candy out of it, because it looks like, oh, this is for Garrett only. So I replaced it with candy corns. And that was an idea of a felt friend of mine, so appreciative of that. The sequins, for the most part, were replaced with those from Cartwright's. The beads were definitely not the kit beads. I used some, I don't remember if they're Toho or Miyuki, but they are just clear seed beads, but they've got an Aurora Borealis finish. And I like those because they're both sparkly, but they also really do a good job of taking on the color. So if I don't have a good color match bead, then they work great. I did use gold beads on the stars. The stars are holographic, the moon are luminous. I used a mix of things for the purple and green sequins. The fuchsia ones on the hat are the kit sequins. I went with gold ones for the collar, the moon on the collar, because I thought yellow didn't quite look right. I used fuzzy stuff for the spider legs. And I really love that the spooter eyes are white sequins with a black bead in them. And then I did use some Kreinik on the pumpkins ribbing, as well as up here on those, as well as Kreinik on the vines. Now, I did not have enough of the Kreinik that I used to do the side panels. So the side panel pumpkins are just brown cotton stitch, but honestly, nobody's really gonna see that. And then on the back side, we have the words Trick or Treat, which they were laser cut. So all I had to do was really separate it from the felt, which was good because I could not have cut that out as neatly as it needed to be. So I was very grateful for that. Again, some lovely Cartwright's sequins. My spooky ghost, I gave him purple cheeks instead of pink cheeks because I like purple. And I used Silk Lame braid, and then I used a very pale metallic purple from Treasure Raid. It's called, I think it's Ice Pastels is the color. It's like 27 or 28. But it's a very, very pale purple because I thought that was more appropriate for a spooky ghost than, well, not really spooky. He's kind of a friendly spooky ghost. But, yeah. So, that... Okay, we don't know what that is. That is it for me this time. I hope everyone has a good 2 weeks. I do plan to be back on the 2-week rotation, assuming I have enough to show you for the 2-week rotation. Feel free to drop any suggestions of things you'd like to see me go over in a video, because I'd be happy to do so. That's what helps make them a little bit on the longer side. But 30 minutes for me feels like it's a pretty decent length. If that feels okay to y'all, then hey, that's great too. Frankly, I'm not sure I could watch myself for 30 minutes, so I don't really expect any of y'all to either. But if you did, I'm glad you stuck around, and I will see you all next time.